Welcome to Chuck's Guitar Geekery. Today I'm giving this old gal a bit of a facelift, at least electronically, fixing her up on the inside a little bit. This is my old Peavey Predator. It's the guitar I've had the longest. It's one I've definitely played the most. I don't know how many thousands of hours I've put in on this thing, which the frets are starting to show that, so there may be a refret in the future on this guitar, but in the meantime, I've modified the electronics so many times on this, and the last time I modded them, probably about 10 years ago, I was never really the happiest with. I used cheap pots, and there's some quirky stuff about it, and that's why I just really haven't played this one that much. But it's a rock solid guitar. It used to be candy apple red. This is probably the earliest picture I have of me playing it here. I'll put it on the screen. Yes, that's me in a cowboy hat. I used to love country music, still do, but I used to be obsessed with it when I first was learning guitar. This was in the heyday of Garth Brooks and Billy Ray Cyrus, so got a little swept up in all that mania. But what happened through the years, I just slowly started tinkering with it. As I got into my teenage years, I eventually started sanding it, and for a while it looked like this. This was probably when I was 18 or 19. And I used to beat the hell out of it, playing in punk bands and stuff. And by that point, I had this DiMarzio Tone Zone in it and this Fender Tex-Mex. Eventually, I finished painting it, sanding it down the rest of the way, painting it very sloppily. This is sloppy as hell. I didn't like sand it or polish it after I put polyurethane on it. It dripped all over the place. It is what it is. I'm not changing that at this point. And yes, I sanded the logo off. Kind of wish I didn't, but I can't go back in time 20 years, 20 plus years probably, but this is how it's been for a while. So what I did, let's start with how the electronics were. I used to have a push-pull volume here, and what it would do is when it was up, the bridge humbucker was always on. So you could get all three pickups in the fourth position, or you could have the bridge and the neck going at the same time, like a telly middle position. But that pot, it was a cheap pot, and it spun like so freely all the time and just annoyed me. The tone pots were cheap, they had a bad sweep to them. But I did keep the same tone cap, so I'll go into that in a little bit because it's quirky. I think something might be wrong with it, but it's a happy accident and I'm keeping it. So what I did a combination of things. I got 500K CTS pots, so I got some good pots. Yes, this is a single coil. But what you do is you just put a resistor from the height of the single coil to ground, and that it's seeing 250K like it wants to see with that. But then I also put a spin-a-split in here. I've done several videos on the spin-a-split. It's probably my favorite mod. You know, I did it on this guitar, another Peavey Predator. Hot rodded similarly, but not quite. So let's just go through the sounds. And I don't know, maybe if you're thinking of hot rodding a guitar, maybe this will give you some ideas to get some more flexibility out of something you already have. So, let's just get some tones. Crunchy. So this DiMarzio Tone Zone always has had like a honky mid-range to it that on lower gain stuff like this and clean, I never quite liked. Like, it's super hot. So that's where the spin-a-split comes in, and I put one of the 25K pots for the spin-a-split, so. So that, it takes that honky mid-range out of it, and it's not quite like a single coil. It's like a partial split, kind of. Then I can keep going. Somewhere around there is about as close to a typical bridge single coil strat that you're going to get. That takes me to this middle pickup, which is just some generic P90. I don't remember where I got it. I probably got it off eBay dirt cheap at some point and sloppily cut a hole in the pickguard to accommodate it here, and so it's definitely fatter than a typical bridge middle position is. I like it. And then this neck pickup, Fender Tex-Mex. So with the spindle split on the bridge humbucker, you get a better balance between them. Then you get the typical two-position Strat sound. In that 4 position. Yeah, so that brings me to the next part of the wiring I did on here. So I just have a master tone on here since I replaced the one-tone pot with the spindle split. So I do have 50s wiring in here. So I maintain that high-end clarity when I roll the volume pot around, because I prefer working the volume pot over switching channels or turning on stomp boxes. So I typically get a good drive sound and leave it on, and I work the guitar's controls from there. But so that brings me to the last part of this wiring. I don't know what's up with the tone cap I have on here, which it did this when I had it. I used the same tone cap that was in here, and I thought maybe it was the pot that was messed up, but now I'm realizing there's something off with this tone cap. I'm not sure. If I ever take this guitar apart again and look at it, I'll put in the comments that what's written on it. Maybe one of you can help solve this mystery, but it doesn't act like a typical tone pot. So that's all the way up. It's a very subtle effect. It almost gives it a out of phase sound, almost like a cocked wah type of sound. I don't know why, but I don't know. Maybe one of you in the comments can help solve that mystery of why the tone pot would do that, but I like it, especially when you get into higher gain. You switch to the bridge humbucker, roll that back, and it's just like a screaming type of tone. I don't know. So this is all into like a mild crunch. Let me turn the gain up a little bit and let's see how it does with more gain. Now I got higher gain, a little more noise here. Yeah, that's all the different kinds of tones you can get out of here. My battery's about to die on my camera, so yeah, just some ideas if you want to hot rod a Strat style guitar, different things you can do and get all sorts of flexibility out of it. So like, subscribe. I don't really know what else the point of this video is other than try out some old Peavey Strats or Predators. Yeah, see you next time.